Welcome to Bubbies Know Best. I'm Brad Pomerance. I am the one that has to wrangle the bombastic bubbies. I don't know how I do it every week, but here they are. Help me, Lord. You know them well. Hi, Bubby SJ.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, Bubby Linda.
What's happening there?
Well, we're hopping on over to Bubby Bunny.
Oh, hi.
There she is. Okay, later on in the show, we are going to be joined by none other than the hilarious Jessica Kirson. She is such a troublemaker, just your style, SJ, right?
Yes.
But first, we start with words of wisdom, as we always do, and we are joined by Esther Kustanowitz, who writes and podcasts about pop culture. That's Jewy, entertainment, and so much more. I can't wait for you to talk to Esther. Ladies, have at it.
Okay, Esther, so good to meet you.
Great to meet you.
Thank you. Give you a little bit of trivia. I started out my career on American Bandstand.
Ooh.
And looking back, I was a dancing advocate for integration because we danced to the Black music. We're talking Chuck Berry, Little Richard, Johnny Mathis, Stevie Wonder, and Julian Bond, who was a chairman of NAACP, watched us, and he said he knew that the white people dancing to the Black music meant that we were going to help integration, and we did.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Now, I would like to know, what do you think, how do you think like television is doing today as far as representing Jewish people, LGBT, Black people, et cetera? How are we doing?
Well, I think we're very lucky to live in a world where there is more than just a couple of basic networks. So the result is that there is way more room for independent creators to tell their own stories. And we're seeing that across the board in every kind of ethnic group or background or racial background or religious background. We're seeing it with stories increasing women, people of color. Like there's just endless outlets now for content. So right now, I think people are emerging into their Jewish identities as creators in a way that didn't always happen back in the day. Like there were a lot of Jews who were involved in Hollywood for sure, as writers, creators, producers, but the content itself didn't really portray anything overtly Jewish. Occasionally you'd get themes or values that you could read as Jewish, but there weren't really stories of fully fleshed out Jewish characters. And now we're seeing it a lot. We're seeing it in streaming services, primarily, less so, I would say, in the still around networks. But in these other smaller spaces, which aren't really smaller anymore, you're getting a chance to hear people's stories in a new and exciting way.
Esther, it's great to see you. We are definitely, in a golden era of TV programs where there's so many, programs with Jewish themes in them. I went to your Twitter page. I especially loved your hashtag TV Gone Jewy, and I followed it, and I saw it was Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, the duet between Patty LuPone, and it was so cute. Anyway, what are some of your favorite Jewish themed TV programs and why?
Well, that is really one of my favorites, even though Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is not itself a Jewish show, but the main character identifies very strongly culturally Jewish. And that's something that you see when she has her mother on, who's played by Tova Feldsha.
Oh, right.
And Patty LuPone, who's not Jewish, but I guess Jewish adjacent, or at least in the Jewish hearts of many, and has been, I think in her life, been called ethnic looking, which used to be code for Jewy. And that's something that's actually explored in a series by Ryan Murphy called Hollywood that's streaming now on Netflix, where they imagine that diversity came to Hollywood not today, in the time of Me Too and Oscars So White and all of that. But actually, all of that happened in 1948 instead. So imagining like where we would be today if all of that had happened then. But in that show, Patti LuPone again plays a Jewish woman who's been told she was too ethnic to get roles. So these are all people who are strongly identified Jewish and are bringing it into their work with no apologies.
All right, let's get to the meat of the issue here, girl. All right. All right. So Esther, tell us about your podcast, The Bagel Report. And when could we be on it?
Oh,
right?
When could you be on it? Yeah. Oh my goodness. My co-host Erin, she's the bagel on the left in that photo.
So cute, the name.
Yeah. Thank you.
Let me talk, Linda. It's my turn. All right. Shut up.
Yes, she's that bagel without the headband. I'm the headbanded bagel with my arms crossed in a very aggressive posture. So yeah, I mean, we love doing the podcast. It's not our schedule sometimes gets interrupted, so it's not exactly every week. And some of the content we talk about is extremely Jewish, like Maisel. Erin will always talk about Maisel, but then whoever wants to ask. And I love Hunters. I thought that Hunters was like a remarkable and totally different kind of show.
Loved it.
Yeah, I loved
it.
But very controversial.
Yes.
Very controversial.
Yes.
Yes, very controversial. And I think that one of the things that we've learned is that anytime the Holocaust is invoked, there's always a feeling of like, oh, what is this going to be? Is it going to be respectful? Is it going to be accurate? And this, there were a lot of criticisms of the show for not being quote unquote accurate, but the entire show was also in a very fantastical style, a non-realism kind of style. And so, I see it from both ways. I see it from the perspective of the artist/consumer, as well as from the longtime Jewish community professional who knows that if you're going to take on the Holocaust in any kind of artistic work, there is going to be some pushback.
Mm-hmm. Esther Kustanowitz, you are so well spoken.
Thank you.
You really are.
Stuff. I knew that I was wise because I'm the wise one. Although Bubby Linda's the sage Bubby, sometimes I come up with some good ideas. I am so glad we had you on the show. I just want to remind our audience, though, that you have quite a Twitter feed. I enjoy your Twitter feed very much. So be sure to follow Esther on Twitter. Esther K is your handle. And of course, the Bagel Report for sure.
Yeah.
When we come back, we're going to be speaking with the hilarious Jessica Kirson. We'll be right back on Bubbies Know Best.
Esther. Esther.
Thank you.
I love all your.
Welcome back to Bubbies Know Best podcast edition. She may look very demure, but I promise you Jessica Kirson is a big troublemaker. She is absolutely hilarious. Don't let those glasses fool you. I am so glad you are joining us, Jessica. Ladies, have at it. One of the best guests.
Jessica, you are so funny. I could not stop watching you. Other than the fact that you're extremely funny, what do you think is the secret of your success as a stand-up comedian?
Hard work. I mean it. Like I really worked so hard at it for 21 years, and I never was lazy, and I took any opportunity to get on stage, and also just being depressed and having a hard childhood.
That is so true. Yeah. What is it about us Jews? It's like our depression helps our comedy.
Oh, of course. That's what it's all about.
Right.
It's even more more amazing because only about 10% of all touring comedians are female, and you sort of beat the odds. How do you explain that?
Yeah, I don't think that the male comics see me as a female comic. They say that a lot. They just see me as a comic, and I purposely always appeal to men too, because I think it's not great if you only do jokes about being a woman or geared towards women, because like a lot of men book the clubs, make the decisions, and then the audience is half men. So you have to,
that's true,
appeal to them.
I'm Bubby S.J. I'm the troublemaker. So why are there so many Jewish women that have developed such fruitful careers in comedy today?
Well, I think we're brought up to be powerful. Seriously, like the women in my family are very strong. And it's my grandmother's I don't know if you knew this, but my grandmother's the one that told me to do it. I would have never done this.
Really?
If she didn't, yeah. She said, you need to be a comedian. We were at the club and she called me over and she said, you need to be a comedian. I said, what? And she goes, trust me, every time you're around people, they're laughing. You need to do comedy. And I did it because she told me to. I was petrified of doing it. And then she used to come to my shows all the time. She loved it.
Oh, so I see you've worked with Howard Stern, right?
Yes.
You naughty girl. Tell me all about working with Howard himself already.
Well, people that work for him knew my stand-up, and they know that I, did do so many voices, and so I did a lot of prank calls. I mean, that's my favorite thing to do. It's hysterical.
Troublemaker.
Yeah. Oh, those are big. I was a big troublemaker on that show.
I mean, you sound like a law professor on this podcast, but I've seen you in person, and forget it, you are just a nasty mouth.
I know. I'm out of my mind on stage, and I'm pretty like mellow off stage. Like I'm crazy on stage, and then when I'm off stage, I'm like more of an introvert. I'm socially awkward. It's a lot of us are like that.
Yes,
that's what I heard about comedians.
Yes. That's right. Aren't we all, ladies and men?
I love your post, Relatively Sane. And since you've launched it, you've had like some of the funniest comedians, Zach Braff, Fortune Feimster, Jim Gaffigan, Judy Gold, Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah, well, Zach is my stepbrother, believe it or not. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We've been step siblings for like 35 years.
Wait, explain.
Yeah. So he actually texted me. He's like, when are you going to put me on your podcast? I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know if you were busy, whatever.
But who married who?
So my mother married his father, who was my mother. Yeah. So my mom is a therapist.
Of course.
I know. She married his father, who was a lawyer, and they fell madly in love. And he used to run couples courses with her in the house. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow, that's wild.
So I guess he's your favorite guest then, right?
Well, I love doing a podcast. I love interviewing people. I'm going to start doing some alone. It's where I can really be down to earth, because again, on stage, I'm like nuts. So I love just talking to people and being genuine and having conversations also.
Well, your facial expressions are what's incredible on stage. I mean, how do you translate that then into your podcast? That's beautiful. I was going to come over for dinner.
Yeah, that's the Jewish people in Florida who are like, I say, even when they're saying something positive, they have that face. It's gorgeous outside. Look at the weather.
Right.
I used to live in Florida, so you're right on.
Oh yeah, I mean, I perform there all the time, but it's I've been making faces my entire life. I mean, I'm serious. I remember being a little girl and just looking in the mirror and making myself laugh, doing faces.
Good for you.
Hey, if you can make yourself laugh, you can make anybody laugh.
That's true.
But as Bunny said, how do you transfer that into the podcast format? Because so much of your brilliance is that mashugana face.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not that easy, but I do so many voices that I think people still get it. They don't see my face, but they hear the characters and the voices.
Okay.
And I love doing that too. I love doing characters.
Jessica? Right. And I wanted to put her up because we like to honor our guests, Bubbies. Is this the Bubby?
Yeah. That's I loved her. I loved her. I mean, I do love her, but she was an amazing woman. Yeah, that's Nanny B.
Lovely. She's lovely.
It's
beautiful. Thank you. That was 94 years old. Can you believe what she was?
Classy.
It was a wise puppy.
Yes, she was. I mean, like the best Bubby. She was so great. She really was.
How did she have the insight to know that her young granddaughter would turn into one of the most successful, if I can use some identity adjectives, female comedians, Jewish comedians, comedians, period. I mean, that's
Yeah. Well, she was a huge fan of comedy. Huge. I mean, she was into the Borscht, but she loved Mickey Freeman and all of them, Freddie Rome. And I've worked with them so many times. She loved that.
It just shows you that Bubbies know best.
Yes,
Right.
you do.
Right?
I'm not kidding. She really taught me a lot about how to be. She always would say to me, "Don't you settle. You never settle for any." She was so strong. I just had these examples of powerful women in my life, and so going on stage, it's like I channel her. I channel these women. It's amazing.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
She's not with us anymore.
No.
Oh,
She's
can we adopt you, darling?
100%. I would love that.
I'm ready to adopt you, baby.
I love it. Let's do it. I love it.
Perfect.
Now you'll have three Bubbies.
Thank you.
Yes.
I love that.
And we love you, and we have to say,
Bubbies.
we're really proud of you. I mean, it's hard to deny that we get nachas. I'm just kind of an honorary Bubby, but on behalf of the Bubbies, it's such nachas to see people like you and Judy Gold and
Judy's a very close friend. We're all so close, especially the Jewish comics.
Right.
We really are close with each other. There's a different. I mean, all comics are pretty close, but we have we just have this bond, the Jewish comics in New York, that's really strong.
Wonderful.
Well, congratulations on your success. Come back. We'll have you again, darling. And if you want the Bubbies on your podcast, call me. We can figure that out.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
We're ready, darling. We're ready.
Okay, Jessica. Oh, and are you touring or not so much right now?
I'm not so much touring. I'm doing a lot of stuff online. I'm doing Zoom shows and different things. And I hosted an awards event last night. So it's good.
Here's your website, jessicakirson.com. So
There we
you can
go.
find out
Beautiful.
more about how we can see your hilarious humor.
Right.
Jessica, we love you. When we come back,
too.
new franchise, Guess the Grandma. Welcome back to Bubbies Know Best. So we're starting a new franchise. I think it's going to be a real hoot. We call it Guess the Grandma. Yep, Guess the Bubby. I'm going to show some pictures to the Bubbies, and they're going to have to guess who the celebrity is connected to the grandma or vice versa. Okay, you ready, Bubbies?
We're ready.
Okay, so here we go. Here we go. So here is
Oh my
a
God.
Bubby
Oh,
with her celebrity. Shh, don't say anything. Her celebrity granddaughter is the celebrity granddaughter Barbara Felly. Is it Scarlett Johansson? Or is it Amy Rossum? Why don't we start with Bunny, whose hands were flying in the sky? Who do you think it is?
yes, I believe Scarlett.
Why do you think it's Scarlett?
I see a little bit of resemblance. And her body shape and everything. It is Scarlett. And if you know what's good for you, you'll say Scarlett too, Bubbies.
Okay.
I'm
well,
not buying it. I think it's Amy Lawson. Sorry.
I agree with you, Bubby Bunny. It's Scarlett Johansson.
Okay, so so we have SJ and Bunny thinking it is Scarlett Johansson, such a beauty.
Beautiful.
We have Bubby Linda thinking it is Amy Lawson. And the answer is Scarlett Johansson. There
my
you
God,
have it. Now, as you know, not that it matters, but Scarlett
Everything.
Johansson has a Jewish mother. I'm not sure if this is her mother or father's mother, but we'll take her, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
Right,
Yay,
Bubby
we did
Bunny.
it.
Yay.
let's do another one. See how this goes. Are you enjoying this game, Bubbies?
Yeah.
Sorry,
Bubby
started. What are you
Linda.
talking
Maybe
about?
next
Give
time.
us some time to hate it or love it.
I'm
What are you-
used to being the one out.
I know.
He's already asking an opinion yet.
Okay, Bubbies, here we go with round two. I'm going to show you a young woman, quite beautiful, if I may say. This is the young woman. And I'm now going to show you three very famous women who may or may not be her grandmother. Is her grandmother Lauren Bacall? Is her grandmother Audrey Hepburn?
Yes.
Or is her grandmother Jackie Kennedy Onassis?
Oh, wow. That's a good question. Wow.
Jackie Kennedy Onassis.
Okay, so Bubby Linda says Jackie Kennedy Onassis. I think Bubby SJ is going for
Audrey Hepburn, possibly.
Okay. What do you think, Bubby Bunny?
Can I have 2 picks?
Well, you need to pick one in the end. We need your pick. We got one for Audrey Hepburn, one for Jackie O.
Jackie
Lauren Bacall?
I would say Jackie O.
Okay, so let's do
Good
this.
choice.
Let's do this again, just for our audience, one more time.
All
Could
right.
it be Lauren Bacall? Could it be Audrey Hepburn? Could it be Jackie O? And the answer, Jackie O.
You could see it. You could
Wow.
see it.
Well, so
But
she's
finally.
so
Great.
she's a Schlossberg then.
And that's what I was going to say. This is Rose Kennedy Schlossberg.
Oh, okay.
Now, I would only mention that Schlossberg is
Jewish.
guy.
He's Jewish.
His family are Orthodox Jews from the Ukraine. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Do I get a prize?
Yes.
You get.
What do I
my
get?
eternal
The
love.
Bubby prize. I mean, the booby prize.
The Booby or Bubby prize.
I get a Bubby cup. Okay.
Yes. We got to get her definitely a Bubby
Yeah,
cup.
okay, you're on. You're on.
I mean, I
Gotta get the
got
Bubby
both
cup.
of them. All right. Okay.
That was fun. I'm so glad we tried this. We'll do it in successive weeks. What
Yeah.
a great show. Esther Kustanowitz, what a genius that young woman is.
Honest.
And then, of course, Jessica Kirson. She's like a law professor, but she's so funny.
Oh my God. It's
Yes,
amazing.
yes.
Okay,
Zach
so I
Braff.
want to remind our loyal audience that, of course, you can always watch the Bubbies podcast by going to the website on your screen right now. And then you can watch it on JLTV Mondays at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern and Pacific. Please email us, bubbiesknowbest@jltv.tv. There are social media handles.
Wow.
Follow us. Not too much to ask. Our Teespring store. Look at that. Hold up your cups. Hold up the cups.
Gotta get Bunny a cup.
Well,
Chaim.
there it is.
And there's the
Chaim.
Bubbies
Oh my
mask.
God, a mask.
A Bubbies
In the
mask.
mail.
And there we have an expanded staff. Brad and Michael and Tessa and Ryan.
Right.
Porsche McGeggies working
Right.
behind the scenes.
Could I just say hello to Sugar Dumpling? Sugar Dumpling, how are you, honey? I love you. Bubbies love you.
Yeah, Sugar Dumpling's one of our big fans from Birmingham, Alabama. We love her.
Hey,
Twitter.
sugar.
Dumpling.
We
Yeah.
love her, Bubbies, and we love you so much.
Yeah.
Just you
thank
complete us. Thank you so
Now
much.
get out of here.
Bye, everyone.
Hey, good.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. We love you.